last week on a media call for NXT Takeover, Triple H was asked about whether there was plans to have another women's only pay-per-view like Evolution. He said no. He was later asked his thoughts about Mickie James telling the best women's wrestlers to come wrestle in NWA regardless of their contractual status. And to that, he responded by saying, yeah, if you want to wrestle the best women in the world, come to WWE. That's where they are. If you want to go elsewhere and say that there are, that's an opinion. You can't, and you can, but it is what it is. I'm all for it. I was one of the big drivers of it. We will do another all women's event down the line, possibly, but he went on to say, it's probably not going to happen. That's not in the plans right now. He went on, and he ended by saying, but I think we do a pretty good job of it. And in my opinion, the best female performers in the world are in WWE. And if they're not, they want to be. And that's triggered a reaction from a lot of people. Thunder Rosa actually said the best. She said in a tweet, to paraphrase, that the best women wrestlers are not in any one company. They're spread out all across the world. We saw Britt Baker, who tweeted a picture of her and Thunder Rosa, and just that's all she posted in response to that report. Triple H saying that. And the biggest heel in the world, Tony Khan, responded to Triple H's comments in a very interesting fashion. He said, he said on Triple H's comments, I think we already had, and in my opinion, the best roster in wrestling. He's talking about AEW having the best roster in wrestling. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Look, everybody's building their own roster. They're going to have feelings about people they work with. I don't think that there is anything wrong with saying that you think you have the best show and the best company. I think people get offended and got offended at Triple H when he said that everybody wants to work there. And he went on to say that people are apparently confusing the two things. And, if you want to say that, hey, my show is the best and I think our product's the best, that's one thing. But if you go on to say that everybody wants to work here, even though that's not the case, and he mentioned Britt Baker, DMD, she made it pretty clear that she didn't want to work in WWE. She has no plans to do that. So that's gotten a lot of people talking. So that was a lot of information, I know. But Trevor, the basic gist of it is that the problem seemed to be is Triple H said that WWE has the best female performers in the world, and that everybody, and if they're not there, they want to come there, and that's what a lot of people took umbrage with. So what do you think about the comments and the backlash that he's received on these comments?
Again, it is opinionated. It is. It's all based on opinion. I mean, this is your company. Of course, that's what you're going to think. You're going to think that you have the best talent. You're going to think, the best talent want to come to your company. That's what you're going to think. It makes sense to think so. But I honestly believe that is not a true statement. I kind of agree with Thunder Rosa that there are amazing women's talents all over the world, like in a bunch of different promotions. And I don't think one promotion has more talented women than the other. It could be argued that Jordan Grace is one of the better women wrestlers. She's wrestling for Impact. It could be said that Ivelisse is an amazing wrestler. She's in the independent circuit right now. So there's two amazing women wrestlers that don't wrestle on NXT or WWE. So that's
Ty
right
Conti,
Ty
DMD,
Conti.
Nyla Rose.
Even though Ty Conti was once with WWE, but she wasn't as good then as she is now.
Hikaru Shida. You can just list names.
Just name them off. But that doesn't mean that WWE doesn't have good talent, because I think they do.
Yeah, they have. If you ask me, what one company has the most proven female wrestlers right now, I think you could say WWE, and again, it's an opinion, right? But you could say WWE, because look at who they have. They have Sasha Banks, who I think is the best all-around performer. You have the most arguably the most over person in wrestling in Becky Lynch. They have Charlotte, who is great at what she does. And they have Rhea Ripley, Oscar. That's an amazing roster, and it very well might be the best in the world. And
They
I'm
have a
not
very underutilized Tony Storm, who is arguably one of the best wrestlers in the UK.
exactly. So, and that's the thing. My specific problem is not with the fact that he wants to say that they have the best wrestlers in the world. That's fine. I'm actually taking a book out of Tony Khan's page here. The problem is when you say that people want to work there, and you put this out as this like, oh,
Right.
everyone wants to work for WWE, when it's not true.
No.
It's just not true. Because there's people who bust their ass for AEW. There's people who bust their ass for NWA. There's people who bust their ass on the independent circuit for GCW. There's women who do this all around the world.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go to WWE. Everyone knows the stigma against going to WWE. There are people who fall with that stigma, who appeal to that and don't want to work for that company because they've seen the way people get treated. Like Asuka is the perfect example of someone who, like, do you want to end up like Asuka if you go to the WWE main roster? No. Yes, she's had a bunch of world title reigns, but they killed her entire gimmick for no reason when it was at its highest peak, and then they've done it repeatedly afterwards. And I do think that stigma against officials, that stigma against the WWE it sticks for a lot of people, and it's not one of those things where it's not it's not 2008 anymore. It's not 2010. Right. Not everyone's clamoring to go to the Fed anymore. Like, there's so many other options out there. MLW is another option. Like, there's so many other places to showcase your talents and to be the person, to be the main event. It's not WWE anymore. And for Triple H to say so, it's, again, part of it I think is just towing the company line, but the other part I think it's also a bit delusional to say that, especially on a media call, like when everyone else on that call knew that what he said was bullshit.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it's just, again, have confidence in your product. Have confidence that you are one of the top companies and people want to come in. Have that. That is nothing wrong with that. But don't make a bold statement like that, like everyone wants to come there when you know that not that many people want to come there. I mean, you mentioned what they did with Oscar. Like, if they did that with a male, what do you think they're gonna do with females? Like they did it with Dusty Rhodes. Like, it's
Jon Moxley's never going back to WWE.
Hell no. He said he wasn't. He said in an interview he's never going back. He doesn't need to. Cody Rhodes will never step foot in a WWF ring ever, and he doesn't need to. But it's just it's just things like that. I mean, yeah, have confidence, but don't be delusional.
Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.